Hi, this is James of Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at another button shy game. This is going to be Press Tour, and this is designed by Jason Tagmeyer. In this game, you're going to be playing as either the press, or you're going to be playing as the author slash celebrity that they're interviewing. So the interviewers are going to gain points by trying to have the person they're interviewing say key words, and the person being interviewed is going to try to work in different things to gain points by how they act towards the interviewers. So let's go ahead down to the table here. I'll give you a general idea how to play the game, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Press Tour, and the flavor text for Press Tour is going to be: the cameras are on and the microphone is hot. Grab a copy of your best-selling book or snag a press badge to take part in the media scrum. Hope you've memorized your talking points because we're on in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right. So this game is another 18-card game from Button Shy Games, and in this game, you're going to either be playing the role of your celebrity that's being interviewed, or the person or celebrity being interviewed here, author, or one of the interviewers. The game is going to be 2 to 4 players. One player is going to be the author, and everyone else is going to be the interviewers. So for game setup, you're going to need to print this out, and this is available on Button Shy's website. And it's going to have the bottom part of it's going to have the interviewer, and the top's going to have the author. And you're going to cut this in half and give an interview sheet to each of the interviewers and an author sheet to each of the authors. You will also need 3 dice for the game, so go ahead and get your favorite 3 dice and have those available. All right, so the other thing you're going to do to start off the game is you're going to hand out one of these cards to each of the players. So they're double-sided, so here's press and here is going to be the author. You'll just shuffle these guys up and you'll hand out one to each of the press people and one to the author. Now, some of the examples of the press is this going to be ideology television, all access interview, valid through December 31st. So this will sort of give you like an idea for your role here. Just drop that card. But here's going to be Goal Sports, Sports TV, all access interview, valid through December 31st. So, and then there's some here for on the opposite side. These are all for the person being interviewed. So this is Trony Pro Inventor, and it gives you some notes basically on, idea here to get you started for your role. All right, so what else do you do? Well, if you're the interviewer, you're going to fill this out. You're going to be, who are you? What is your show? Fill that all out, and some notes based on that. If you are the author, you're going to say, who are you? What are you famous for? What are you promoting? All right, there's going to be a couple special things in that too. So when you're filling this out, you're also, if you are the interviewer, you're going to put in 6 keywords that you're going to try to get the author to say. And you're going to score points on these if you can get the author to say it. So try to make them reasonable based on maybe what role the author is. So for the author, there's a couple extra things that are going to happen too. You're also going to take a requirement card per player that is an interviewer. And these are the required cards. They are double-sided, just shuffle them up or whatever. And let's say there's 3 other players here, I would get 3 cards. The rest of these would go back in the box. The rest of these cards would go back in the box. So let's say I'm an athlete and I have these 3 cards as the person being interviewed. And that's it for setup. So in gameplay, you're going to choose randomly which of the interviewers are going to go first, and they're going to play is going to go clockwise. Each interviewer will ask a question, then potentially ask a follow-up question before the next reviewer takes their turn. Play continues until all the interviewers have had a chance to do their 3rd round, bust, or complete their sheet. Okay, so then what do you do on your turn? Well, the interviewer is going to ask their question. You're going to take a look at the lowest dot that's filled out here. So in this case, it's going to introduce yourself and add details and ask a question. You're going to then roll your die for each dot. So I only have 1 dot, so I only roll 1 die. So I'll roll this die, and I rolled a 6, which is super unlucky for me. Now, I may not want to write that 6 in there. I may want to use one of my abilities down on the bottom. So I can use ability here where I can plus or minus the die. I can re-roll the die or flip a die. You know what? I'm going to flip the die. So if I flip the die, the opposite side of 6 is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a 1. So that'll be a lot better to start out with, and I made a mess. I will then ask my question. So a couple things on that. Now you're trying to ask your question to get more information out, but you're really trying to get these key words for the author to say. And if the author says a keyword, you can cross it off. You're trying to get as many of those as you possibly can, because for your scoring, keywords is going to be a big part for that. Now, you rolled that die before the author answered his question. If they answer the question, then you can do a follow-up question if you want. And if you want to do a follow-up question, you are going to roll a die. So I want to do a follow-up question because I changed this to 1, so I'm going to roll the die, and I need to get higher than what I did before. So then I got a 5, so I'll put it in here. And this is where you're going to push your luck a little bit, because if the number you rolled is going to be equal to or higher, you're good. But if the number is lower, you're out of the game. You're done. You got your final score, you're done. So you want to try to be pretty careful in what you do. And you're only going to get a new dot at the beginning of the for the next round. So this will be my next one for next round. Now I'll roll 2. So that means by the time I get to my third question, the most that I can possibly roll is going to be 3 dice. And obviously if I'm rolling more dice each time I go to a new round, I'll be more likely to roll a higher number. And you probably don't want to use these abilities too quickly. But like I said, a 6 roll is pretty bad. But your follow-up question is going to be on the same subject. And again, you're trying to get them to do the key words. Now, what's the author's role every time these questions get asked? Well, the author has a couple things that happen for them. So the author has to answer the question. The author may use one of the requirement cards in front of them to guide their answer. These cards may give points if used by the end of the game. So if they use a requirement cards, they'll note the question number to the left of the interviewer's box. So in here, you have interviewer boxes. And you must get both of them to score. So basically, you only have 3 of these, and you're looking to get these filled out so that you can get more points. You're going to note the question number. So this is going to be question 2, and that's 5. So you're going to put 5 in here. And if I used one of these requirement cards. After that, I will flip. So I say get defensive. I'm going to need to do that when I answer. But then I'll flip this over and I'll be able to use it a second time. So there's going to be 3 of these, but they're going to be double-sided, so you can use these for all 6. What you're really trying to do as the author is you're trying to push your luck and get farther along this track, because if you get farther along this track, the value will be higher and higher as time goes by. So the value you're going to get in here is going to be higher. You have to have both of these filled out here to be able to score that box. And if you wait too long, you may not be able to fill them all out. So you want to try to get all these filled out. You have 6 attempts to do it, but you want to try to get the highest value here that you can. At the beginning of the game, you're also going to write a goal here, which I did skip over. And if you accomplish your goal, you're going to get points based on that too. But you're basically going to get your points from this and your goal, and that's all you get as the author. All right, so the game's going to continue on until everyone has finished their third time, busted, or completed the last box on their worksheet. Then we're going to get into scoring. All right, for scoring, the author is going to get their total points. They may gain points by using their requirement cards, and again, you have to get in both columns there to be able to get that. If they didn't use a second card for an interview, they will not score for that interviewer. They will also gain points if they accomplish their goal in the amount of the highest combined interviewer score. So basically, that's going to be cool for goals. These are going to be summed up if you have both of them filled out. If you don't have both of them filled out for an interviewer, you get no points. The interviewers score based on their keywords, so they're going to have their keywords up here that they're aiming for. And they're going to get 1 point per keyword that was said out loud by the author. They have their market score, the number of turns taken. So if they've taken all 3 turns, get 3 points. They're also going to get their ratings, which is the highest number rolled. 1 point for each of their unused abilities, and -1 points for each die rolled when busting. So theoretically, their final roll, if they're super lucky, they can have 18 points just in this if they get rolled all 3 dice. But if they bust, that's really bad. So you can get a lot of points from that part. You can obviously get up to 6 points for keywords in there, which is pretty cool too. If you don't use your abilities, you get some bonus points there too. At the end of the game, interviewers can compare scores. If playing multiple sessions, switch roles and compare the author's score. So that is how you do the scoring, and that in a nutshell is how you're going to be playing Press Tour. Now this game is going to be more on their like RPG line for Button Shy games. So with all of those games, they have a guidebook, and this guidebook will go over like tips and strategies to make the most out of the game here, and an example of play and all that fun stuff. So in a really quick nutshell, that's going to be how you play Press Tour. Let's go ahead back up the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so Press Tour. Press Tour is going to be a good RPG game in the Button Shy line. I like it a lot. It's going to be for those who want to have a very narrative experience and they're willing to basically play the roles there. And the better that they play the roles, or the more they're into the roles specifically, the more fun this game becomes. It also helps when you play the game repeatedly because you get to know the other players and it gets easier to get them to say those keywords, not guess them, but say them. So there's a lot of fun in this game. It's only 18 cards, so it's very portable. You could play it anywhere. So if you're out at a restaurant or just hanging out with friends or at a convention in between events, this is a great game. Just bust out and play. Very social game. So that is also another bonus on that. So if you just want to have something like that is basically just going to be a get to know you style game, but through playing different roles and stuff, this is a really great game for that. So that's my thoughts on Press Tour. Thank you for watching.